Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So by the end of today's video, you will learn what is self-preservation mode in Eureka server, and we will also see service discovery. Okay. So before we start this video, I just want to request you to please subscribe to the channel. So at the time of recording this video, I just have 15 subscribers. And also if you have any suggestions or feedbacks, please do let me know. And one more thing, if you like this content, please do hit the like button. That really motivates me. So let's get started. So what is Eureka self-preservation mode? So as we saw that the other microservices registered their instances in the Eureka server, right? So Eureka server maintains a list of all the instances which are active and up. So when employee service is trying to connect to the department service, so it goes to the Eureka server, it asks what are all the instances those are present, then Eureka server will give the list of instances which are up, and then employee service they can then connect with the department service instance. So now in self-preservation mode, what happens is even though the service is not available, the Eureka server still shows it as up, because what happens is if there are any, so suppose if we have a very big network and if there are any major network outages, so we don't want to lose the entire information about our services. Okay, so that is why this self-preservation, it goes into the self-preservation mode. It doesn't remove any instances from its registry. So let's see this how it happens. So by default, the self-preservation mode in Eureka server is on. Okay, so let's go to our Eclipse. First, let's start our Eureka server. Okay. So I am starting the Eureka server first. And then let's start our other two services as well. Okay, and then the department service. So now I have started both the services as well as the Eureka server. So let's quickly see if these services have registered themselves in the Eureka server. So the port for Eureka server is 8761. So we can see that our Eureka server is up and the employee service has already registered into it. And there is one instance which is up as it shows. Okay. And then the department service. So let us see if the department service has also, so the department service has also registered its one instance into the Eureka server. So now what I will do is I will stop the department service. Okay, so this is the department service. Okay, we have all the three running. So let's take the department service and let's stop it. Okay, so now we see that the department service is not running. Okay, but then if you see here, it is this instance which is not even running. The status is still up. Okay, the department service is registry is not removed from the Eureka server. It still exists. It is still present. Okay. let us make this self-preservation as false. Let us tell Eureka not to go into the self-preservation mode, and then we will see what happens if we stop one of the service. So stopping, it means like we are like in real scenarios. So the service is down for some reason and it is not available to register its instances into the Eureka server. So let's do that. So I'm going to stop all these. So how we disable the self-preservation mode in Eureka server is, you just have to add this, well, eureka.server.enable self-preservation equal to false. Okay, so by default it is true. You will have to make it false to disable the self-preservation mode. So now let's start these applications again. So I'm starting the Eureka server first, and I'm starting the department service application as well as the employee service application. Okay, so our Eureka server is still starting. So as you can see, it clearly gives an indication that the self-preservation mode is turned off, and this will not protect instance expiry in case of network or other problems. So it will, if the instance expires, it will remove the instance from its registry. It will not retain the instance. So we are going to lose all of the metadata like the IP addresses and the location of the instance if it doesn't renew itself. Okay, if the instance doesn't renew itself in the set period of time, so this is going to remove. So let us see. Yeah, so both our microservices have already registered their instances into the Eureka server. So now, as we did earlier, what we are going to do is we will go to this department service application and stop it. So it means our department service application is no longer available. So let's see. So what we see is after some time, okay, this department service is removed from the registry. One point to note here is, like, even if these are up, your microservices, the other microservices which are trying to connect to that service will not be able to connect, because in the real sense it is not available. It's just that in the registry, it's retaining the kind of metadata of that registry. So that is why it is there. But then in real, like, the other microservices will not be able to connect to that microservice. So they will have to have another mechanism to not go down by themselves, because they are not able to connect to the service and have some kind of a circuit breaker. Okay, we'll discuss that in the later videos. So now quickly jump to our Eureka server console, and we will see that after about a minute or so, this Eureka server will remove the department microservice instance, because that is no longer able to renew itself. So as you can see, so in about 2 minutes, it is Eureka server has evicted one item. Okay, because it expired the lease for the department microservice, and then that is why it has cancelled that instance And when we go to the browser page of Eureka server, we can see that the department microservice is removed, is evicted from its registry. Okay, so this is the self-preservation mode of Eureka server. Okay, now let's quickly head to the, so I'm going to stop these instances. So now what we are going to do is Eureka, so we have an endpoint for employee service where we get the list of all the employees, and we also have an endpoint for the department service where we are getting the list of all the departments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the departments not from the department service but from the employee service. So how that is going to happen is we are going to create a new endpoint in the employee service to get the departments, and then we are going to use a REST template to connect to this department service. Okay, so what happens is this employee service goes to the Eureka server and it asks for the instances of the department service, and then the Eureka server will return the instances which are available, and then in the employee service we are going to have a client-side load balancer. So that will decide which instance to pick up, and then the employee service will take that instance and it will try to connect to that instance with the help of REST template. Okay, so let's go ahead, and also in the department service we are going to add a new field called employee ID. Okay, so we are going to map employee ID for each department. So let us keep it simple for now. Okay, let's get started quickly. So we don't have any changes in the Eureka server for this. So in the employee service, what we are going to do is we will create another package. So new JSFile employee service dot config. Okay, and in that I'm going to create a class. Okay, so here we are just going to return an instance of REST template. So we are going to return a new REST template. So we need to tell Spring that to configure it as a bean. Okay, and then we are going to, for the load balancing part, we just have to add this load balanced tag. So yeah, so this will take care of the load balancing of our instances. And then we also need to tell that this is a configuration class. Okay, and then we will go to our service, and in the service, in the interface, we are going to add another method, get department. So why we are taking as object? Because we don't want like microservices are not type coupled. So we are just considering it as an object. So we are not specifically mentioning or using the department model here. And in the service IMPL, we have to implement that method. So here we are going to auto wire the REST template bean, which will get created. Okay. And then so for the REST template, we need to do get. So this would be a get request. So we are going to do get for object, the URL, and then we want the object. Our type is object. So we are going to use object.class. So our URL here would be http, the name of department microservice which we have given in the application.properties file. So this is the name of this microservice slash the endpoint for getting the department. So for now I'm just going to use this endpoint. Okay. So we are just going to get all the departments, not from the department microservice, but from the employee microservice. Okay. So yeah, so this is done. And let's write that endpoint in the controller. So we are going to have a new get mapping. Where we are going to get the departments. We'll return an object and we are going to call that method which we have just created. Okay, so our employee service is done. Let's head to the department service and for now I think we don't need to make any changes. Let's see if we can access the departments from the employee service. Okay, so first let's start the Eureka server application. And I'm going to start the employee service as well as the department service. Yeah, so let's see if the Eureka server has started. It has started, but the microservices have not yet registered themselves. So the employee microservice is up and also the department microservices. So now let us see if both of these microservices we are able to access. So let's see the employee service first, where we have one endpoint slash employees. Yeah, so we are able to get the results. And our department service is running on 8082 port, which will give us a list of departments. Okay, so we are able to get all the departments as well as employees. So now the new endpoint which we have added for our employee microservice, that is departments. Let us see if we are able to get that. Yeah, so from 8081 we are able to get the departments. Let's try to get the department of a single employee ID. Okay, so for that we will need this employee ID Okay, we will add this new parameter employee ID and with column as the tag. And let's stop all the servers. Okay, so we have added an employee ID. So generally database doesn't go well with the camel case, so we are going to use underscore employee ID, and we will have to add this method here because employee ID is not the primary key. So we are going to use find by employee ID, and we are going to pass it an employee ID, and it is going to return a department object. Okay, and yeah, so and we also have to write this endpoint. So here we are not going to get the list of department, we'll just get one department uh, to which the employees map. So we will not have this. So instead of get all, we will use get department, and we will have the path variable as the employee ID. Okay, it is an integer and it will be employee ID. And in the service, let us add the method. It is going to return the department and get department by employee ID. Okay, and the IMPL has to implement it. So repository dot find by employee ID, I forgot to add the employee ID here. We need to send that employee ID. Okay, yeah, so our department, yeah, this is pending. Get department by employee ID. Okay, so our department service system, no, not yet done. We just have to add the data as well. So, and let's just give some values here. This would be 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, so I'll open it here instead of the notepad. Okay, so we have added 1, 2, 3, 4 as the IDs. We have also added the name of the column employee underscore ID. Okay, and in the employee service, so let's update this endpoint to this. Okay, get, or let's add a new one. Instead of changing the existing one, let's add a new one. So instead of get departments, get department by employee ID. Okay, employee ID by employee ID, and we are going to have a path variable. So this we need to add in the server as well. So let's add it from here itself. Okay, that's fine. And in the implementation class, so what we are going to do is we are going to use the REST template get for object the same URL the employee ID we will append, and the type is object.class. Okay, yeah, so everything looks good. So let us start these applications, the Eureka server first. Let's start the employee service as well as the department service. So Eureka server is started. Let's see the employee service. Yeah, that is started. Okay. Yeah, both the microservices have registered. Let's just check this. Okay. And the department service. So what we are going, let us check the employees as well. Okay, so now we can see that employee ID 1 here is mapped with this department, banking and financial services. So let's try to get that. So our endpoint for that would be departments slash from our employee microservice department slash 1. So we are getting the department of that employee. Okay, so what I see is I have not added any getters and setters for the employee ID, I guess. So that is why it is not printing. Let's quickly head to our model class. So yeah, so we have not added any getters and setters, so that is why it is not printing the employee ID here. So it's not returning the employee ID. So I'll quickly add that. Generate getters and setters for employee ID. Yeah. So let's restart the department service. So this is the department service. I'm going to stop it and I'm going to start it again. Yeah, so we are getting the employee ID as well as the department details. So here if you want to display the employee details as well, so then we will have to update the model in the employee service, and add the department details, and then take these details and add to the Pojo and then display it. Okay, so in that way also we can do. So yeah, I think that's it for today's video. So we have seen the self-preservation mode. We have also seen how the self-discovery works and how we can connect one service with the other. So if you like this video, do hit the like button. And in case of any questions or feedbacks, please do let me know. Thanks for watching.